a longer speech than usual and less time for questions, perhaps 45 minutes.
Let's see, I don't know how long.
So, yeah, the queen of subtitles, I'm told, needs no introduction, so my introduction is done.
Okay.
That's-
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming for this session. I was asked to talk about my job and my career as a subtitle translator of motion pictures. And it's a very specialized, unique field, and people know so little about it. So I just wanted to talk about it, and so that leaves maybe less time for Q&A. But I thought you were interested in listening my story, so that's why I prepared. And as you can see, I'm not a fluent English speaker, and I could work with sentences, but not the ear and mouth. And I'll tell you how it happened that way in the middle of my speech. And I said the subtitle is a very specialized job, and when you translate foreign films, there are two options to translate it. One is dubbing, and the other is subtitling, and that's the two ways. And when the silent films made their way to talkies in the 1930s, the country faced the two options, whether to subtitle the dubbing. But at that time, there was no dubbing studio in Japan and no voice actors then. And so we had to turn to the subtitling. And luckily, people accepted subtitling because this is a country with high literacy, you know. Everybody could read characters, Japanese sentences. They accepted subtitling, and they enjoyed listening to the real voices of the actors, which is one of the charming points, I think, with the dubbing. You could hear the original voices. With dubbing, it's a voice of different voice actors. But we want to hear the real voices of Tom Cruise, you know, and that's how it's settled. We accepted subtitles, and that's how it happened when the talkies came in. But then the unfortunate war happened, and they banned all the foreign films when the war started, because it's about enemy art. It portrays enemy people, their life, their ideas, so they banned it. And so we are really isolated in a way, in the culture, from the rest of the world. And I have prepared something for this. Yeah. So the war ravaged, and the war ended, and you know how it ended. We lost it, of course. And dark, very miserable period followed. And this is where I came into the picture. When the war ended, I was like a 10-year-old. And the whole city was burned to the ground. It was in total ruins. And I still remember vividly how it looked here, right here in Marunouchi. It was nothing there. And we are all starving, no food there. We were fighting for food those days. And when I watch the Ukraine or Gaza today on the films, it was just like that. And I was starving, and everybody was starving. And but the only one good thing is they lifted the ban on the motion pictures, and all the foreign films came pouring into this in Japan, where no entertainment existed there, and so all the people became overnight movie fans, and all the cinemas were packed to the capacity all over the country, and it's a shabby, no air-conditioned cinemas, but they were packed with people, and we enjoyed. I remember I went to see when I was a little girl, Charlie Chaplin films, or John Ford westerns, or Alfred Hitchcock thrillers. I imagine the culture shock I got at that time. Living in these ruins, nothing to eat, and suddenly on this big screen, they became a different world. And for the little guy, it was such a culture shock, and I immediately hooked on it. And I'm still hooked on it yet, still at this age. But it's how it happened. And for instance, what shocked me was when I saw the American home drama. I was starving, so there was a fridge in the kitchen, and you open it, there's food inside, packed with food. And we didn't have fridge in the first place. We don't have any fridge there. It's all ice boxes, if you are lucky. And I couldn't imagine there a country or place where people living in this luxurious world, it's like science fiction, actually. It's like a different planet. Couldn't believe we share the same planet, those people and poor Japanese people at the time. And that's what happened. And I went to I was 10 years old about that, and I went to the junior high school. And that's when the English classes started with me. And of course, English was banned during the war. No English was allowed. Even the baseball terms were in Japanese, translated into Japanese. They can say safe or out. We couldn't. So they said yoshi for safe and dame for out. That kind of period. So I was at that time already, I was into films. It was such a wonderful media, and I was into films. And I have a great interest in learning English. Because when you love something, you want to know everything about it. For instance, if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you want to know everything about him or her, like his name, what's her hobby, where do they live, that kind of thing. Everything you want to know about the things you love. And in my case, it was not boyfriend, but the movies. So language was one of that things I didn't understand and wanted to learn. So, but I started English at the junior high, and I first saw alphabet, first time in my life, alphabet. Even today, kindergarten kids could read alphabet, right? But not at the time. First time I saw alphabet when I was junior high. And it's all textbook education. And I suspect that no teachers could speak English at the time after the war when the English was banned. So it's all by books and grammars and those. Nothing with conversational education was zero. That kind of thing I was grown up. And that's how it happened, my relationship with the English. But still, the education was really one-sided, just textbooks and no conversation. But still, it didn't stop me learning English because I loved movies so much. It encouraged me to learn more. And so I didn't actually like English, but it was a bonus of the love for the movies. It's a bonus for that love that I took interest in English. But it's all by books and characters. And I liked movies. I kept watching them. And gradually I realized of course, I just followed the subtitle. I couldn't understand anything it was said on the screen, so I followed subtitles, of course. And I realized subtitles are not exact word-to-word translation. It's abridged, made it shorter. And I realized that. It's not a literal translation. It's abridged, very omitted kind of translation, and that interested me. It's not a regular translation, but you could use your creativity, and you can change the original dialogues into shorter, but where people understand what's going on. It's a very limited, special kind of translation. And I got interested in translate the subtitles. And that's how it happened with me for my desire to be a film translator. That's how it happened. And I watched the subtitles, and I thought it was not literal, and it was very abridged, but still I could understand what's going on. And that's what is subtitle translation is all about. It's because you make it shorter, otherwise the subtitles, if it's a literal translation, it goes out, disappears before you read the whole thing. And you miss the storyline, and you miss what's going on in the film. You wouldn't understand the movies. So it has to be shortened so that people can read it during the time the dialogue is spoken. That's a golden rule of subtitling. It has to be read during the time the dialogue is spoken on the screen. If the literal translation tends to get longer, when you translate English to Japanese, Japanese usually tends to get longer, but for subtitles it's opposite. We have to make it shorter. It's a very difficult job, but interesting, and you can work out. And I like that. It's a challenge, and I like that. And if it's too long and audience can't read it, it's no use. If it's a beautiful translation, but if audience can't read it, it's for nothing. It doesn't make any sense. So that's a golden rule of subtitling. That's how it is done. Always limited by the seconds the dialogue is spoken. So that's how we work on every film. Within the time of the dialogue is spoken. And we make the original sentence shorter so that every audience can read. And you go to movies to enjoy what's going on the screen. You are not going there to read subtitles. It has to be there because people don't understand English. So it has to be there, but what you want to see is what's action, drama on the screen. So that's when the subtitle is long, you miss all the fun of the film watching. So that's very important to keep that golden rule. So that intrigued me, and I wanted to be a subtitle translator rather than a regular translator like books. It's a very literal word-by-word translation, but subtitles are different. You have to have creativity and ingenuity, So I was fascinated by it, and I wanted to translate film translator, but it was a very limited, strange, small field. And at that time, it was like 40 years ago, and still is the motion film subtitle translator is less than a dozen in Japan. Just that small field. And when I wanted to be one of them, they were all, men, gentlemen, over in middle ages, and no place for a young college graduate like me. And I realized it's going to be a very long waiting and a battle. And indeed, it was a very long battle. It took me like 20 years to get where I wanted to be. I waited 20 years to start working as a subtitler. And it was not an easy job to get into. And it's such a, only a dozen people could translate all the films imported in Japan. They could do that. So if there are 20, some of them wouldn't be, they wouldn't have a job to do. So that 12, a dozen people is enough for the whole imported films. So it's only a very, very small handful of people could do the job, and I wanted to be one of them, but it took me 20 years to get into this group. And while I was waiting, something I never dreamed of happened. In the 70s, it never happened before, but in the 70s, film people like actors, directors started coming to Japan to promote their films. And there was few interpreters in the first place, and in the film industry there was none, because they didn't need any interpreter for the film industry, so there was none. But people started coming in, so they needed someone to translate, interpret. And they all knew I wanted to be a subtitle translator, so they thought, oh, she's translating English. Maybe she could speak English as well. They were very wrong. I have never spoken a word of English at that time. I was close 30 years old, but I never actually spoke with any foreigners, and much less in front of people. But they asked me, you do this press conference. Can you imagine my first experience, press conference? How frightening. Perhaps I made a mess of myself, but I tried my best. And because I was a movie fan and have a reasonable knowledge of Hollywood or art of filmmaking, so that saved my bad English, and I got over this big ordeal. And it's a beginning, and they started asking me to interpret for the film people whenever they come to Japan. And I was really terrified. It's something I didn't want at all. It just fell on me, And I started to be the film interpreter for a long time. But the one wonderful thing was I was a big movie fan, and I had a chance of meeting big names from Hollywood, like Robert Redford, the late Redford, who passed away only a few days ago, or Sylvester Stallone, or who else? Anyway, the big names. 誰でしょうね。誰でしょうね。Sylvester Stallone or
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is very late. before that, Clint Eastwood, Meryl Streep, and just to name a few, those great people, whom I would never have the chance of meeting otherwise, Just because I did this very bad interpreting, I had this great opportunity to meeting those great people, and they are wonderful, all the wonderful people. And when you think of the big star in Hollywood, you think it's I'm a big star and big head. No. It's when you get the top. They are all very considerate and very, really people I could respect. They're really great people. And I enjoyed working for them for a long time. And it's something, my bonus of doing the things I didn't want to do. And one of the people I met changed my life. And it was Francis Coppola, who made The Godfather. And after he had already made The Godfather, he's a huge director, huge name in the movie, and he was shooting Apocalypse Now at that time. Do you know that spectacular film about Vietnam War? And he was shooting that film, and they shot it. All the shooting was done in the Philippines, in the jungles, and Coppola. It was a very difficult film to shoot. It's a war film. It's all real, for real, not CGs, It's all done for real. And Coppola traveled from the West Coast to the Philippines many times. And he stepped in it's the middle in the Tokyo. He always stopped in Tokyo to have some fun. And I was asked to guide and translate for him. And I had a great admiration for him. He was a genius, and he even invited me to go to the Philippines to watch the location, and that kind of filmmaking is no longer done. It's all for real. With the helicopters and the explosions, they are all done for real. Today, with CG, you could do it overnight, but not in those days. So I went to the Philippines and had an extraordinary experience, one of my most extraordinary experiences in my life. And I had the pleasure of enjoying that time in the Philippines with him. And in 1979, this film finally completed after many years of hardships. And of course, they opened it in Japan, and of course, they need a subtitle person for the film. And it was Francis who recommended me for this big job, because he knew about me a lot by that time. So I really owe him a lot. It was breakthrough for me after 20 years, and finally, I got a chance to make this. It was my turning point, because of the chance of doing this Apocalypse Now, and I really, it was a big breakthrough, and I finally reached the point I wanted to be, the professional film translator, and that's when my waiting of 20 years ended. Finally, when I was over 40 at the time. And then that triggered, overnight, movie companies wouldn't give me one movie to translate. Now the movies were pouring over me. Every company wanted for me to work for them. And it's like overnight, situation has changed. I was offered one title a week. And so that makes 50 titles a year, because there are 50 weeks in a year. So one title a year, you work on 50 titles a year, and that I kept at it for like 33 decades or something. So it was very busy. But it was finally I made my dream come true. So it was not, it's something I really enjoyed. I was busy, but I really enjoyed it because that's what I wanted to do all my life. And so it was late in my life, 40, in the middle of the life, when my dreams came true, and I started working as a professional. And usually the film companies give the translators the time allowance they give of translator is just somewhere between 1 week to 10 days. You work on your one film in 1 week or 10 days. That you have to work on it and finish it. That's the usual process. They rush you because they want their films to be subtitled quickly, so they can start screening and show it to the mass media and start promoting. So they rush these translators, make it quick, put the subtitles as quickly as possible. So they only give you 1 week or 10 days. Whether there's a lots of dialogue or no dialogue at all, they don't care. Just they thought we can do it in 1 hour, and 1 week. See, and the legend says the least, well, that the one film that delighted the translator was a Tarzan film, because in Tarzan film, Tarzan doesn't speak English. So he jumped from tree to tree, and at the end, me, Tarzan, you, Jane. That's the only dialogue in the full film. And the translator had all the translation fee from that one line. That never happens again. It was before my time. It was long, always very particular Martin Scorsese kind of film. It's a talky film. And they keep talking from beginning to the end. It's more than 1,000 dialogues to translate. So but still have to do it in 10 days. That's what they expect of us. So I worked on the one title a week, but I never had an assistant because time is so short. I couldn't use assistant because it takes time. So it's quicker and better if I work on it by myself. And I could have the control of the rhythm of the subtitles or the choose of the words as I wish. And it's better to do it by yourself. So I never had an assistant, and I never missed the time limit. I just worked very hard, but I enjoyed every minute of it. Because it's hard, but I enjoyed movies and still enjoyed it, working on it. And every film is different. That's what makes you don't bore translating films. Every film is a different world. So I sit the whole year in my lately I use computer. I sit at the computer. From the outside, for the whole year, I just sit at my table, at my desk, and clicking my computer. But inside, every week we travel different things, different world. Like when I translate Star Wars, I go to the star, to all the adventures of this Star People character. Or I could do maybe I work on the court drama. It's about court drama and the lawyers and so forth. It's very talky films, and it's a different world. So each week I travel different world, and that doesn't make you bored at all. It's so much interesting and exciting every week. So I could kept on it for this long time, and that was my rough. How was time doing? Half an hour?
Half an hour. Done.
That's good. So this is my, very rough retrospect of my life, very short and very badly spoken. But I did enjoy every minute of it, and because it was what I love. I love movies, and which I still do, and it was a driving force that kept me going. And well, he says it's a half an hour. It's 1 o'clock and 1:30. So maybe we have 30 minutes to go on.
Minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So we have plenty of time for Q&A.
Okay. First of
it's
all,
okay. Yeah. Sorry. So I'm not used to this. Please have a heart for me.
Actually, I'm going to ask an initial question since you just talked about this. During the computer era, so while you're working on it, you're not just working with the script. You have the movie
Yeah,
in
but
front of you on a different computer, or what is it physically
yeah, but
like?
you know, the first thing when a new film come, I watch the film. That's the first thing you have to do. You have to watch the film and see what it's about and all the characters and everything. And that's the first thing you do. But when you start working, it takes time. You have only 1 week, so you can't watch it again and again. It takes time. 3-hour film, you can do that, just once. So I saw every film once at the beginning, and there's a script, of course. And I followed the script. I could record every scene, so I could translate all the English dialogue into subtitles. So really, I see the whole picture only once at the beginning, and not in the middle, just the script. And at the end, of course, I saw the film and adjusted everything, but not during because there's no time. It's a time wasting. Yeah.
And do you work at your home or an office?
Home,
or
yeah. I don't have the luxury of having an office in my study, little study, yeah.
Okay. And before the computer era?
Of course, it's handwritten, and then it's a word processor came in, and but at the beginning it's all handwritten, and there was people who. I didn't write those characters on the screen. Some people said, you have beautiful handwriting. No, I'm not writing. I'm translating it. And some people says, there is a real people who all the subtitles are written by hand at the one time. Now it's computer. But those people lost their jobs overnight. You see? So it happens, they lose a job as it progresses, yeah.
So let's open up questions to the regular members. Questions, anyone? And we'll use a microphone.
Oh, no questions, good.
Mark? Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, Ms. Toda, for a very interesting presentation.
Really? Thank you for saying that.
My name is Mark Schreiber.
Hi.
I'm a good friend of your friend Dave Spector, by the way.
Oh,
He
Dave.
asked me to say hello to you.
Oh, okay. Dave, okay.
I'm a freelance writer and also a translator.
Uh-huh.
And I guess the first Japanese theater where I saw a Western movie was probably You Only Live Twice, around 1965 or 66. I came here with my parents that year. So, of course, I couldn't read. The only thing I could read in your subtitles was the hiragana no, which looks like the letter E reversed. That's where I started learning to read Japanese, just from that one hiragana. But anyway, I'm aware that there are things in movies that the average viewer doesn't know about. And I'll give you an example.
Lots of it.
Yeah. I recently, no, not recently, but a few years ago, I watched the Japanese version of Tora, 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 which of course is about the Pearl Harbor. Okay. Now, in the Japanese version, Atsumi Kiyoshi makes a cameo appearance as a cook in the aircraft carrier. That was taken out of the U.S. version.
Oh,
I can see the reason why is that it's just a joke to put Tora-san in the movie called Tora, Tora, Tora. Yeah.
See,
But
that's
anyway,
that's the difference,
This gives me the question that you see scripts and things before they wind up on the screen. And are you aware, it's not necessarily censorship, but for various reasons, things get taken out of the American version of the film. Not talking about nudity, right? Just other things. are there things taken out which we don't see here in Japan because for some reason the distributor or the government or something doesn't want to use it?
No, not to my knowledge. All I see is the finished version, the released version. So nothing changed after the first viewing. Yeah, but as you said, there are many differences, and the things we don't know, you know, then it's difficult to make them understand. But the most difficult thing was the humor, jokes. It's impossible to translate. It's when it's easier to make people cry. People cry at the same occasion, like you lost a loved one, or you lost family, or you won the Olympic Games, and they cry, and we understand the heavy emotion. But humor, you need some basic knowledge, the cushion to understand, like the word of pan, you have to know the language to understand the fun. So all the jokes are you have to share this basic knowledge, which we don't, we share so little with your culture that like the Kiyoshi, Atsumi Kiyoshi kind of thing, you wouldn't know it, Toda San, and vice versa, we don't know about their TV series, Jimmy Campbell, maybe we don't know. So it's that comedies, verbal comedies are the most difficult genre. Yeah, from my experience.
I've seen some excellent examples of translation of funny parts when they completely changed the Japanese from what's in the English, but it's still funny.
Okay. But there are people who understand the English by listening. So if I change too much, it's not what it's being said.
If the audience laughs,
so
it doesn't matter.
It's a delicate thing. You can change the total dialogue.
Okay.
You have to respect the original title, whether the audience would understand or not.
All right.
We have to respect the original dialogue. Yeah.
Does the studio ever edit what you've done, or complain about something, or change something, or do you have final cut over subtitles?
No, final cut. Then they don't have any say into the translation. Yeah, but maybe. One example is the title. We change the title, original title to Japanese title. And your studio asks us to translate the Japanese title into English, and they want to check that if it's the right title. But our language is so different. One thing is amazed me is what was the title? Carnal knowledge or something like that. Or no. I forgot that. And at this moment, Japanese title was Smile of Eyes, 氷の美少。ね。女優さんが出る映画でした。スリラーのね。で、氷の美少ってin Japanese it's a beautiful title. See? But they want to retranslate in English. And they translate Smile of Eyes. The Americans would say, what's this? Smile of Eyes? Doesn't be anything.
And what movie was that?
誰だっけ、女優さん。
Follow up.
What?
I have a follow-up question. Okay.
Oh, basic.
Title, but basic instinct. Basic instinct. Yes, see? So, that kind of thing happened. So they don't understand Japanese nuance. It's a beautiful title in Japanese, but not Smile of Eyes.
And what wasn't the Last Samurai written in, writing samurai in katakana?
What kind?
The Last Samurai?
Last Samurai? Katakana?
I thought I remembered. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, sorry. You have a follow-up.
You mean the title?
You mean that I mailed to you the other day? You want the follow-up now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, please. You must be aware that the dialogue in American movies over the years until now has become increasingly dirty.
I know.
Okay, especially Bruce Willis movies. But this collides with something you have in Japan called sabetsu yogo. And so has this standard in the Japanese media of sabetsu yogo affected your work?
Of course. Very careful about not to use the sabetsu yogo.
That's good to know.
Of course. But the dirty was a different matter, you know. You have millions of dirty words, right? But we don't, you know. The worst thing we could say in Japanese is baka, manuke, that's it. You know, that's the worst thing you could say to someone. But you have lots of those words. And we could use the, should I?
You want to hear it.
Okay, mother, see? And you translate it into Japanese, they wouldn't understand what that means. You know, I wouldn't translate it in Japanese, but we have not that kind of phrase in Japan. So what's I talking about? You know, the literal translation doesn't mean anything to us. Yeah. So the dirty words are one area which are very always problem to find the right cursing words in Japanese, which is very few. Yeah, it's a difference of culture and the language. Yeah.
Okay, I just thought of one more question. You
Yes.
may have three, okay?
Yeah.
It's very simple. Is the super subtitles or fukikomi-ban, the overdubbing,
Yeah.
dialogue, contents exactly the same?
No. It's because it's a dubbing. You could hear by ear, and you could hear simultaneously. But reading needs time. That's why we have limitation of the characters, because it takes longer to read.
And more editing, huh?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, but the dubbing has a problem. They don't have this restriction of character, but they have lip sync. So lip sync is another difficult thing. I never.
Well,
did,
you know, it's now with AI, especially for animated movies for kids, you want to have dubbing, and then you can change the lip sync when you change the language.
but not in a regular film. You know, you
Yeah.
can change. So,
Well, you can actually.
but
the
not now.
technology
But,
from
yeah, I know. You
past
could do
few
that.
months, you can do it,
For a few months. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the present.
Yeah,
you can't do
it
that.
hasn't been done
Yeah,
for
yeah. So-
live action feature
So they have
film.
problem lip syncing, for the dubbed version. Yeah.
Okay, more questions? Okay. Could you share with us about the most challenging subtitles that you worked on, and the most rewarding experience that you have had as a subtitle translator?
First one is a difficult one. Challenging subtitles. Well, very recently, Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, the latest one. Have you seen it? It's enemy is not the person; it's a computer, but the AI.
Very complicated storyline.
AI, and I'm really not a computer person. I'm really analog person, and that film is all about AIs and the advanced technology, and there are lots of dialogues, very complicated stories. So it has a very hard time, and there was so little time to do it. And the problem today is that in the film, if it's in the can film age, you can change anything. It's on the film. You can change anything on the film. It's a can. But with the digital, you can change anything. Like the digital camera, you can change anything. With the you can change the pictures, images. But so movie is the same. You can change everything to the last minute. And the directors want to change it for better, of course. So they keep changing, up to the
While you're in the middle
day.
of working on the subtitles,
Yeah.
they're changing the
Yeah,
content of the
every
movie.
day. We change this, we put this thing new, and we delete this thing. It happens to the releasing day. And you imagine my, it's a really thing with happened. I really don't. I miss the film days. You can change anything. It's in the can. You can touch it.
Questions?
もう一つあったじゃない。
Oh, the other one.
Rewarding experience. Not rewarding. I can think of, but maybe the fact that I talked about Francis gave me a chance at the Apocalypse Now. Maybe that's a very rewarding thing. It changed my life, so it's a very big thing.
He invited you to the Philippines. Did you go?
Of course, I went.
Okay, great.
It was in the jungle, and it's a huge location. There are lots of open sets all over.
Which scenes were you there to watch, or did you see Brando?
No, he was not there already. He's gone.
Right.
I watched the bunny girl scene.
Right, the Playboy bunnies. Yeah.
And bridge scene. And the end, that Marlon Brando's in that temple or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, he was not there, but I saw. And the French plantation. Yeah, it's a beautiful
the scene
set.
that was cut from the original.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that must have been great. Douglas? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Doug Montgomery. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
First of all, let me apologize because I have two jobs I've done in the past, one for a studio and one for a film festival. So we're the ones pushing you to move quickly. So I feel bad because I do it all the time. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Anyway, you said something I thought that was really interesting, and actually it's not necessarily a question, but if you could maybe expand on it. You got into film because you loved it, right? You didn't get into it because you wanted to be a subtitler or whatever. You got into it because you loved it.
Yeah.
I read a comment that you said in the Tokyo Journal. What was the hardest part of subtitling? And you said work, like getting work. So in the age of AI and where we're going in the future, I think many people could think it's tougher to get work in film. Do you have any comment or anything you can do to kind of inspire people to, take their passion and move it into film? Again, it's not really a question, but I just thought it was kind of nice the way that you said it, and the fact that you got into subtitling because you love film. The root was you love film.
Well, for any film,
something inspiring.
Well, I think for any job, you have to love what you do. That's the most important thing, and you don't want to spend your life doing something you don't like. So I liked what I do, and I loved it, and that's my good fortune, and I wanted to happen that way myself. So I told you I'm analog. I have no, like him. I have no. I can see the future with those technologies. So maybe the younger people coming into the film, and the film will be changed itself, As you said, you can fake all the images and things. So you cannot use today's standard for the future. Things will be drastically different. See, in the future, for whatever you do. And so I have no idea what kind of future we are going to have. So I have not the actual definite advice or recommendation. Only I can say is do what you love, and that will open the future for you. And but I think it's a truth. In every age, you do what you love, and that's where your passion came, and you open up your path in front of you. So I don't know. Actually, I can't tell what will happen in the future. I know no knowledge about that. But basically, I could say, you do what you love, and you find it as, if possible, as quickly as when you're young, and set your goal, and go for it. It's not the easy way, anytime, anywhere, but you should try that. Sorry, I can't say the future. I don't know much about future.
And you've worked independently, so you could work for any studio.
Yeah,
picture.
it doesn't make any, all the films to the distributors.
And was your first film actually Apocalypse Now, or you did films
no.
before? Like, what was your very first movie?
Their first movie, it was a small movie, of course. I was, amateur, almost amateur. Some documentary I did, that kind of thing, yeah. And lots of, before Apocalypse, there are many films I did. 007, yeah, many, those films. I did most of the 007 and lots of action.
Was that starting with You Only Live Twice, or
Yeah.
the one that took place in Japan?
I didn't do Sean Connery series. I did with Roger Moore.
Oh, okay. Live and Let Die.
Yeah. I started with that. The rest of the 007, yeah. And the Star Wars and some Star Wars, maybe first 3 episodes. Yeah, there are many before the apocalypse.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Questions? Yes. Please.
向こうにもあるの。
Good afternoon. My name is Rara Obayashi. I'm not the interpreter. I'm working for the logistics company. But on behalf of my family, actually my grandmother, my mother, and myself are big fan of you. So I'm so honored to be here today. Thank you so much. My question is very simple. How did you input a lot of beautiful Japanese? Because I assume for the interpreter, it's important to input the Japanese, because you have to translate it into Japanese from English.
Sure, yeah.
So I want to know the tips. How did you get the beautiful Japanese?
I don't know if it's a beautiful or not,
Yeah.
but it's a really, you have to translate instantly,
Yes.
You have no time to think about it. So it just came out from simultaneously, and I don't make any effort. It just came out of my mouth. And that's because I read lots of books, that's why I have a stock of Japanese phrases and Japanese words. So you have to have you have to study Japanese language in the first place. Not just the foreign films, but foreign languages, but the Japanese is a basic to study and that is to read books. Yeah, read books, and there's so many information in Japanese great books, and just for fun at the beginning, you really should lots of books, and it came out if you have that input in your head, and the good words came out from you, I think.
I read your book, like Keep Dreaming On. That was really good purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I think it's really interesting that you would think a job like subtitling would sort of stay in the background, and you wouldn't become so well known in Japan. And yeah, that's really interesting. I can't imagine.
Maybe the interpreting, because it's in the open for the public.
When you do press conferences.
And not the real subtitles is really in the back. They don't come out. They don't know your faces, of course. But in my case, it's a different. I did both. The interpreting and subtitling, and I'm the only one who have this, as we say, wear 2 shoes at the same time. Yeah, I'm the only one, because the time was.
But then becoming more famous also makes you a target for some criticism as well. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all.
I really don't read any of them, because if they write whatever they like without putting their name on it, and if they have a right to do that, I have a right to not read it. So I never read it.
Well, especially these days, because you have anonymous, haters on the internet that never have to identify themselves.
No, I never had even one time I never read it, any of that. Yeah, but it doesn't make any meaning. I don't think it's a waste of time. I do whatever I'm doing. I give it my best. So what can you say about it? You know, I know I did my best. So people say whatever they like. Well, go ahead. But I'm not. I don't care.
Excellent. More questions? Yes, sir.
Ishikawa is my name, and member of this club.
Hi.
And thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming to our
Thank you for
club.
coming, yeah.
And this is the second time for me to see you here. First time about several years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, your friend, I think, if my memory is correct, Haruko Watanabe, was with you. And really impressed speech. I remember well. And my question is, how do you think an AI role, artificial intelligence role, from the standpoint of the subtitle translator? Is it possible for AI, if improved, can
So I kept
overtake
telling you, I'm
much
not-
of the work?
I'm not well versed in those areas, but one thing I could say is I tried this translation app, and it really did a quick job, from Japanese, from vice versa, and they're not 100% perfect, You need some adjustment, but anyway, it's a very quick translation, and but subtitle, as I said, you have to abridge it, and still keep the essence of the dialogue alive. So it's some technique where the computer at this stage cannot do, because it has all emotions. The dialogues are drama, so they have all emotions behind it, all the dialogues. And I think a computer doesn't have emotions, so maybe the delicate emotions, I wonder if they could do it, and instead they have to make it shorter. I don't think they can do it at this time. Maybe in the future.
The future might be 2 weeks from now.
Then I lose my job.
I mean, do you feel you need to have acting skills when you write, because you need to speak in the sort of voice of the character?
No, not at this stage. I'm so used to the way I worked before. So maybe in the future they'll make use of those.
No, I mean just when you translate. Do you have to put your mindset into, okay, I'm Tom Cruise now saying
sure,
this line?
Sure. It's a drama in my head.
Sure.
I'm like an actor. So actors do one character in the picture, that's all. But I have to be everybody in the picture. And in the love scenes, I have to, the man's dialogue with the man's feeling, and return the dialogue with the heroine's feeling. I'm always acting here. That's what I love this job.
So you also have to think like this character uses, say, these words earlier in these movies, maybe repeats the same words.
Of course. Yeah.
Different characters use different language.
Yeah. That's why I control everything by myself. I don't have any assistant because I can have the all control. Yeah.
Great. Well, I think we're at our time limit.
Done. Oh.
That's another big round of applause. Delightful.
Sorry for my. But now I started speaking English in my 30s, and I've never been to abroad until go to the Philippines. So it's not the ideal speaker English. Sorry. Thank you for your patience.
So Apocalypse Now is your first trip out of Japan?
But yeah. So
Wow.
yes, the San Francisco, to Coppola's place. Yeah.
Wow. We have some kind of omiyage from the.
Omiyage? Wow, where is she? Okay. The bag.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much. So we are done?
Okay. Oh, I have to do this. I'm told. How many times? Okay.
どうも。In Japanese, お粗末でした。I don't know how to say it in English. お粗末でした。お疲れ様でございます。Such a pleasure for me. Okay. じゃあ、帰ってください。はい。どうもありがとうございます。